welcome to the Small World Podcast, a podcast where you are the topic of discussion. I'm your host, Chris Long.
I'm Austin Newborn.
And I'm Nate Pearson.
And with us this week we have...
Kelley Blake.
Nice. Hey, Kelley.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
It's good to be here.
So to kick things off, I know we talked about this a little bit before we hit record, but you're a big Tennessee fan, right?
Oh, yes.
They have a big game today.
They do. They're playing Auburn. So we'll see. They may win.
Isn't Auburn like ranked 1 or were
They were. They're number
were.
3 now.
I think they
still
have
up there.
the number 1 player in the league. So
They've lost 3 games, I think.
that's crazy.
And people
But-
2 weeks from now are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. But
Basketball.
Tennessee hasn't lost the game at home yet.
Oh, that's good.
I
That's
hope when this
crazy.
podcast comes out that's still true. Because they'll probably have had like 2 home games since then. So.
Yeah.
Well, will it be March
'cause this
when
will be-
podcast comes out?
2 weeks from now.
Oh, so it'll be getting close to the, what is it, March
Madness.
March Madness?
Yeah.
This is
It'll be in the middle of March Madness.
I'm going to make a
when
bold
this-
prediction and say Tennessee wins the next 3 games.
Oh, wow.
They do?
I'm probably going to get somebody's going to hate mail. Tennessee fans are insane. I'll get a letter like, you jinxed Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there wood to knock on in here?
I don't see any.
No.
Tennessee's whole basketball infrastructure has crumbled in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's it, maybe.
Well, considering it's going to be March Madness when this comes out, do we want to give out some way too early March Madness predictions?
Oh,
Let's get a hot take from everybody.
Okay.
I'm not a basketball fan.
I know you're
figure it
not,
I'll
but
figure
come
it
up
out.
with something.
Gorgonzaga. Is that a team?
Gorgonzaga?
just mean
Gonzaga?
Gonzaga.
Gorgonzaga. That sounds like a cheese.
But I want to.
I'm not going to say them, though. I got another team.
Gorgonzaga.
I don't have a hot take, but I have a dry take.
Okay, what's the dry take?
We're going to have another year of, even if they aren't doing great, I don't know their rankings or if they'll make it, but Villanova and Gonzaga are just, I just don't like watching them play, but I have a feeling they're going to be relevant in the tournament.
Villanova is one of the teams Tennessee lost to.
Yeah,
They're pretty good,
they're good this year.
but I don't
Where
like
is
them.
Villanova and Gonzaga? Where is it? I've never even heard of these schools.
They're basketball schools.
Is Gonzaga California?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know where Villanova
Don't they have
is.
the
I don't
really
know where
ugly
Villanova is
bulldog
either.
logo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, really ugly bulldog logo. And the other one's just a V.
It's like Barton, but
Is that
That's
a-
what I'm saying. There's
better.
nothing bold about either of those teams. They're just like bland.
They're mid-major schools that have good basketball programs. That's their only note of redeeming quality.
Oh, so
So-
they're like tier 6 football teams.
I don't
tier
even know if
1
they have football
basketball teams.
programs.
They might not. So you don't like Gonzaga because their bulldog is not the same as the Georgia bulldog.
No, it's ugly.
Oh, okay.
They mimicked it and made it terrible.
So what about the Barton Bulldog?
It's uglier.
Barton Bulldog is mid.
Yeah.
Dang, the Barton alum, everyone.
It looks
Not
like
the
a-
actual Bulldog, though. You know.
He's out there listening. His
crying.
heart is crushed.
The Barton Bulldog looks like they went to the freshman class one year and said, hey, draw us a bulldog. And they were like, this 18-year-old kid, that looks good.
Oh, gosh.
That'll do.
But wait,
was
here's
our-
the crayons.
What was our international listener? What country?
Oh, we have a
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
They're going to be like, what's Barton?
Oh,
What's
man.
a bulldog?
They have a lot of questions.
Switzerland, yeah.
Switzerland doesn't know about it, bulldogs at all.
If you're our one listener in Switzerland, shout out to you.
Yeah.
Speaking of Switzerland, there's this little city there where populations fell to like 200 just over time, but they'll pay you, I think it's like $40,000 or $50,000 to move there, to live there for 10 years, and you get $10,000 per person as well.
Oh, wow.
So like for each kid, like I think it's person 20, kid 10. My numbers are off, but just to like move there to stimulate the population, they're paying
Kelly
that
is
out.
planning his relocation as we speak.
It's going to happen.
It's in the Alps.
There's no. Oh, well, that'd be pretty cool.
A town with dwindling pop. How do they afford that?
I mean, I guess they aren't budgeting for anything else.
Just a dwindling population doesn't mean dwindling income. These could be like the richest people in Switzerland.
It's like a ski town or something.
Yeah. It could be.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the question. Hot take on the March Madness.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
The rabbit
Hot
holes.
take. Arkansas is going to make it to Elite Eight.
Okay, that's a
pretty
good
hot
take.
Yeah.
My hot take is that no North Carolina teams are going to make it out of the round of 32.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's a fairly hot take, I think.
That is.
Yeah.
Because
It's believable, though.
It is.
No.
Dude's going to get beat by a no-name team, and that's not a hot take. It just happens.
It
every
just
other year.
happens.
It makes me
That's
happy when
fair.
that happens. Duke,
Same.
North Carolina.
Is Georgia doing good this year?
No, they're dead last in
They're
the SEC.
terrible.
When's the
You
last
know who
time
has a better
Georgia
record?
had a good college basketball team?
They did last year,
They did?
I think.
Maybe
I have
They
no
made
idea.
I
it.
think they had a good.
they made the
player.
tournament.
They
Then.
went to the NLT.
Hey, guess what? ECU basketball has a better record this year than Georgia basketball.
Georgia doesn't care about basketball. That's not a real man sport.
Oh, whatever. Whoa.
Oh,
LeBron knocks on your door.
That is a
And we
terrible
just had
take.
an extreme Kobe fan last week, so
Yeah.
sorry, Jack. I didn't mean it.
Jack is-
It was a
Jack,
joke.
are you listening to this episode? If so, text
Jack.
me and let me know.
Let me.
and then text us. yeah.
I meant like when he listens.
In 2 weeks, he'll probably be watching basketball. Not
You get a
listening to the
text
podcast.
right now.
He's like, I am listening.
Oh, wait a minute.
Are you in the attic? What's happening?
He's like, yeah, you guys turned off the light.
Before we hit record, for context, there is a light switch that is like almost touching the ceiling in this room, and we're like, "What is that for?" Nate's like, "It goes to the attic," and so it was on for a long time, running up his electricity bill for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And so we had this running bit of how there are mice living up there that like their whole lives changed when the power went out.
We knocked out their society, caused an apocalypse for the mice.
But the 3 blind mice are thriving.
They are.
So, like, my light bill's actually gotten higher since I turned that switch off.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't make
you
any
actually
sense.
turned it on.
Maybe my theory is they now have their own electric grid. They're siphoning off of my
They're
power
they're
supply.
stealing your power.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
They figured it out.
That's funny.
We'll just bill him. I'm like,
Will Bill.
there you go.
Send him our tab. What were we talking about? Basketball hot takes and something about like that?
Yeah, we were talking about how Tennessee had a game today.
They do.
Oh, okay.
They play
and
Auburn.
who was going to win, though?
Tennessee's gonna win.
No,
Has
they're
anybody
not.
made that prediction?
Tennessee's not
Who's winning
gonna
the
win.
national championship?
What?
Who's winning the national championship? In
Just
basketball?
It could be anybody.
Honestly,
Just make a prediction.
It's not like college
It's
football
3
where there's
weeks
just
from
4
now.
teams that have a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's-
yeah.
We're going to
literally
change that at
32.
some point.
Yeah, and not for 6 more years. 2026 is solidified until then.
Oh, gosh. That's gonna
who do I think is gonna win?
That's
I don't
That's
even know
a
who the
good
top
question.
teams are.
Honestly, maybe Arkansas.
That'd be
be
cool.
Arkansas.
They're,
You mean Arkansas?
Yeah, that team.
Our whole Arkansas population.
Arizona's
is now
pretty
dropped.
good.
Yeah.
So you're a Tennessee fan,
Yes,
and that is because you were born and raised in Tennessee, right?
correct. Right in
You want
Knoxville.
to tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
Yes, so grew up in Tennessee, East Tennessee, Knoxville, and big fan of all of their sports programs. But to be a football fan at Tennessee for the last 10, 15, almost 20 years has been tough. That's just going to leave it there. But there is a little bit of hope right now. We have a good coach now. Growing up, so I grew up, all my family, they're all in the medical field. So I'm kind of like the black sheep of
Black
the family.
sheep.
I feel that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
my dad's a doctor. My older brother is a pharmacist. My older sister is a physical therapist. My younger brother is about to be a physical therapist. His wife is a nurse. My older brother's wife is a physical therapist. And yeah, so anyway, everybody is in the medical field, and there's me.
You got me beat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what do you do?
I'm a pastor. So I
Whoa! You
I'm a
said that with
pastor. I'm
some
a
negative
pastor.
no.
connotation.
Well, yeah, that did have some.
Heard it here first, Pastor Tyler.
You bring,
Oh,
they
yeah.
bring the physical healing and
Yes.
you help with the spiritual
Yeah,
healing.
just a doctor of the soul.
You know what
That's
the funny
it is.
part is? This time when we asked someone what they do for a job and they're a pastor, that's the first answer they gave.
Yeah. Both of you.
Nate, shots fired at Nate there. Yeah.
Shout out to episode
also,
1.
I'm a pastor.
Oh yeah, by the way,
That's when Austin didn't know that you were a pastor either.
I had no idea.
Like, it just, I was thinking so much, like, because when I do that, I consider it work. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like what I do.
oh yeah. There's a lot to it. One of the things that's different here, though, than growing up in Tennessee, there's mountains everywhere. And when we moved here, everybody was like, "Oh, you're from the mountains. That's so cool. We can't wait. We want to go to the mountains." And we're like, "The mountain? Why is that special?" And now we've been here for 4 years. We're like, "Oh yeah, the mountains are pretty cool."
Yeah.
I miss that
For sure.
Yeah.
But
Do you miss Dolly Parton?
no, I mean, so being from Tennessee, you would think I would love like country music and that whole scene, but because it was basically forced down my throat everywhere there, I'm not a fan.
Well, not like her music, like her aura.
No.
Essence of Dolly.
The hairspray from 6 miles away.
Since he's a Tennessee citizen, she gives him a personal visit once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Santa.
Checks in. Sees how you're
Free,
doing, say, "Hey,
free
you doing,
tickets to Dollywood. Here you go. Yeah.
So that was one of the things that Candace talked about when she was on here for last week's episode. Is all the things that Tennessee has that we don't have here in Wilson.
Oh, nice.
Like as far as amenities. Do you want to speak to that? Maybe.
Oh man. There is where we were in Knoxville. It's not really a fair comparison to Wilson because Knoxville is way bigger than Wilson. But you definitely have the mountains. You have a lot of things to do. Really, you can do anything you want. Here, you just got to drive to Raleigh, which is not bad.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like, I guess, better about Wilson, and Candace probably said this too, but living in a small area, you're not in the mess of like a busy city, but you're also 2 hours from the coast, which in Tennessee, we're 7-8 hours away from the closest beach. So it's nice being able to go to the beach. I like that.
What was the closest beach to Knoxville?
I think you could get to Myrtle in about 7 hours, I believe. And then I think that's the fastest. There may be some in Alabama that depending on where you were in Tennessee, you could go straight down and be faster.
I don't know if I'm driving 7 hours to go to a beach.
Yeah, no.
Well, see, to me, it was like a once a year thing. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
You would make it like it would be a week stay. You wouldn't just go down for a couple of days.
I guess it's also like the flip side of it. We've got to go to the beach so much, like growing up
Yeah.
and doing stuff that it's like if we moved away, we would be like, oh.
Yeah, the beach is there. I can't go to it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We drove 11 hours to go to the beach where I lived once.
Wow, really?
11.
Wow,
That was the closest beach too.
I've never wanted to go to the beach that bad in my entire life.
We lived in Indiana. The beach was like heaven.
You're like the dead center of the U.S. It's like, well, can't go
Let's
anywhere.
go to the beach.
We're like, oh, you want to go see some water? Oh, we got Lake Michigan. It's 6 hours away.
Might as well take the extra 5 to make it to the ocean.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly. We
Go
had the
visit
Ohio River.
A river, yeah.
The Ohio River. Well, you know, if you wanted to get some radiation poisoning, lead poisoning, or mercury poisoning, a lot of poisoning.
A lot of heavy metals in that water.
Say what?
A lot of heavy metals in that
A lot
water.
of heavy metals and probably a lot of bodies too. But
pretty big river.
It smelled
Fair.
bad. That's all I know.
I don't think rivers inherently smell good to begin with, though.
They don't.
No.
They're just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go swim in the Tar River."
Swimming in a river is one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah.
You just
Like, why are you
walk
going to
out.
swim somewhere with a current?
Yeah, and then you're like, "Oh, look, leeches."
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Leeches.
Have you ever watched the show River Monsters? You guys ever watched that show?
Yes.
yes.
If you ever watch that, you will never get in the river ever.
No, especially okay, morbid.
It's a great show, by the way.
Have you seen the episode where he's talking about the fish that goes up orifices?
Yes.
Not
Yes,
the urethra
actually, I've
fish.
seen that too.
Yes.
It
Why
goes
have we all
up
seen
orifices. And they showed like a dramatic example of a guy going, he's sitting there, just sitting in the river, and he's like, huh! Like, I'm like, no!
Yeah,
I've heard about those.
That's terrifying.
And then the piranhas eat you.
But hopefully there's no piranhas in the Ohio River.
There's probably something
There could be
worse
some
than
like mutant things somewhere in there,
that's
but
funny.
exact mutant catfish.
yeah.
The only
you
body of water that I'll swim in is like Lake Phelps because it starts out so shallow and you can walk out and you know it's a lake, so there's not too much that's like. I mean, it's contained, but it's not completely contained.
Does Michael know about this lake?
Is Michael the host of River Monsters?
No.
Who's
Michael Phelps?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
oh,
got
he
it.
got it. Yes.
I got it.
They
I
got
was
it.
like, where to go with it.
It's like,
It was like when you get in the lake, you can automatically swim faster.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like
The Phelps Lake.
It's the secret to his.
Yeah.
It's like the
Speed.
fountain
Yeah.
of youth. It's the fountain of swimming.
Yeah, that's how
Fountain
you go
of
train
swimming.
in that lake, and then
Then you're the best in the
then
world.
you're an Olympian.
Wow.
I'm not an Olympian.
Yeah, yes. Me either.
you're not an Olympian, but you are a pastor.
That's true.
So speaking of pastors,
Oh, nice.
Oh, here we go.
I'm all for the corny segues.
Solid transition.
So you're an associate pastor. You haven't had that title for very long, right?
No, like
That's kind of a new thing.
like a month. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that transition been?
So
Or context, what did you do before?
I was a student pastor before, and then our church kind of dynamics have changed a lot. So now I'm still over students, but I'm over birth through college basically, and we're in the process of hiring a new student pastor and a new children's pastor or director. You can get around the guy girl thing with the word director. So we're in the process of doing that. So I inherited a lot more responsibilities, but it's been good so far. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's an exciting transition, though.
It is.
Like,
It is because I love the students but there's definitely more, like, it's not just like, okay, there's a bigger picture here, and if you just focus on one ministry, then you kind of sometimes be blindsided to the rest of the church. And so it's like, oh yeah, there's younger kids that go here too. And
It's like, nah, kid.
oh, kid, what? Oh.
What's your favorite ministry that you get to be a part of, and why is it the college group?
Well, the college group is a lot of fun because there's not as much preparation that goes into, like, okay, for kids ministry, you've got to have curriculum, you got to have stuff set up and ready to go. For students, it's still organized in that way as well. But for the college, it's really much more, people have the ability to have conversations, and you just bring people together and talk about theology, and that's a lot of fun. It's just sitting together and talking, and that I enjoy, because people learn much more. I think they learn better through dialogue and through those kind of things, fleshing out answers and things for themselves instead of just being spoon-fed. I enjoy preaching too, but I think the college ministry is fun because we get to just sit and enjoy that.
They get to that age where they're starting to search out answers on their own,
Yeah.
and then, like, they're open to conversation at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's fun.
No, there you went for the yawn.
I wasn't gonna mention it. I tried to do it very quietly. I'm
but then
sorry.
there's
I'm
some
not
dead
tired.
Air. There's some
Yeah.
dead air there. Like,
My bad. Whatever. Anyway, I'm the
Chris
energy
is
guy.
tired.
I'm not tired.
I
I'm
thought I was an
fine.
energy guy.
You were supposed to be, but here we are.
Sponsored
Anyway,
by an energy drink company.
Sponsored by. Where's the cheese? We're sponsored by Oh Goodness Pimento Cheese, by the
We
way,
are.
guys.
Oh,
We
that's-
just
That's
don't
like
have
a
any.
real thing that happened.
That
It
is.
is.
Did they really?
Yeah.
This is official.
And Redeemed Outfitters.
And redeemed
Oh,
outfits.
well.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Nice.
Really
For the people who will be watching the video that will be available on YouTube and wherever else I decide
I'll
to
put a
post
link
it.
in the show notes to both of our sponsors.
Okay. But I'm wearing the shirt right now. If
You've
like
also
it.
got the shirt behind
Camera.
you, too.
And behind me. I keep
Nice.
forgetting we're on camera. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I can actually point there. Hi.
Me too.
Yeah.
So you're on camera, Kelly.
Oh,
The way.
I forget about
Chris
it too.
isn't because he's out of shot.
That's fine. Anyway, so
The mystery
being a
man.
pastor, obviously you have to be a man of faith, correct? So do you want to give us a little bit of your testimony and how you came to know Christ?
yeah. No. Yes. I'll condense it to a small amount of time. So I was blessed to grow up in a family that all believed in Jesus. So they were very strong Christians, which was very helpful. And so I got to see. So I already told you a little bit about my family, but my sister is 10 years older than me. My older brother's 8 years older than me, and I have a younger brother who's 2 years younger. But I got to see them kind of walk through their faith journey ahead of me, and I wanted to be like my older brother. So I see that, and I'm like, oh well, I want to be like that. And so after a while, I started asking really my siblings more questions, and even my parents, and like, well, what is this? What is the gospel? What does it mean? That Jesus died for me. And so there's questions that kind of became about, and at a really young age, I understood the gospel. I would say I made it what we would call profession of faith. I was almost 7 years old at the time. And my mom kind of helped me understand it and walk through it, and that was really cool. But I think there's been a gradual understanding over time that I've kind of come to realize more and more what I understood, but now I understand it better, if that makes sense. And so, I think there's a learning process there. But I didn't always want to be a pastor, and I wanted to be, again, like the rest of my family, a doctor of some kind. And so I went and picked a college for that. I started to major in biology, and I knew towards the end of high school that God was kind of pulling me into the ministry, but that terrified me. So I knew my pastor growing up, and I knew a lot of the stuff that he went through. I knew the transparency, like where like he couldn't go to Walmart without people knowing about it, and like he looked down that aisle. You know what's down that aisle? Something evil. But it's just like, and I was like, I don't want that. That's going to be awful. And also, fair note, I had met Candace at that point, and so she thinks I'm going to be a doctor. Which is not what happened. But so at this, I'm wrestling with it. I'm teaching a Sunday school class on Sundays when I was in college, and I enjoyed doing that. And I knew that's what I was supposed to be doing. I enjoyed the biology class and stuff I was taking, but after 2 years of running, it just came to this point where it was like, I have to make a decision. Like I had picked where I wanted to go to medical school, and then I had switched it to physical therapy. So I had options where I wanted to go. I had my junior and senior semesters laid out. I knew all the classes I needed to take. And I was just like, this is just, it's not what I'm supposed to do. And so I talked to my parents about it, and they were really excited. It was weird to me because I was nervous. I didn't want them to be disappointed, even though I knew they wouldn't be. But I was like, I'm not going to be a doctor, and everyone else is going to be a doctor, and now but there was a lot of reassurance there, which was good. And then for Candace, I was like, oh man, we've been dating for, it was 2 years at that point. It's like, how am I going to tell her? So we went on a date, and it was a hike, and we go up this mountain that's like it's a mile hike round trip, but it's like half a mile straight up and straight down. So it's kind of
draft up there.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's my thought. I was like, she can't run away. So we literally went up to the top and we sat on this edge and we were eating. It was like a picnic, and I was like, gotta tell you something. And I was like, oh, this sounds bad. Like I don't know. She's like,
he's either gonna break up with me or he's gonna propose.
Yeah, he's gonna propose. And she's like, and I'm in high school at this point, so like, or she is, and I'm in college. She's like, this is weird. But then I explained, I was like, I think that God's calling me into the ministry, and I talked through that, and she was great. She was like, oh, it's fine. And I was like, oh, cool. She just didn't want me to be a doctor, so it was great.
There you go.
There's potential there. We ended up getting married, and now we're expecting kids, so that worked out. But yeah, that was kind of, and that transition happened, and then so from really my junior year in college on, started pursuing ministry and what that looked like. My senior year in college, kind of became a part-time middle school pastor at a church in Tennessee, and then from there moved here, was part-time student pastor, and then became full-time student pastor, now associate pastor. But all that to say that my journey in faith was started off, I understood the gospel, and then God pulled me in a way that I did not think I would be going.
Nice.
So, but it's cool. I'm excited. That's why I'm here in this podcast now. I would have never even been in this state. So.
There you go. That's why all of our guests have been on this podcast, because that's the common link so far.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
We're all foreigners.
Group.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about everyone that's been on it.
Oh, okay.
Because we're all from the college group.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And
Nate.
I was grafted in.
Yes.
Yeah. You were drafted.
Drafted? I said grafted.
No, I know.
Oh,
you were drafted.
Anyway, yeah, but I feel a lot of those parallels because I was in medical school too.
Nice.
Well, you weren't middle, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was in nursing school for 2 years,
Nice.
and I was like, I'm not happy doing this, and like. It wasn't a sense like I was doing ministry then, and along the same way. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
But like I knew I was gonna do it, but I always thought like it's not gonna be like a full-time thing for me. You know? I was like, it doesn't seem feasible and logically like so many people talk about that.
Yeah.
But and then I was like, just anything like that else that I put my heart to, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Like I just did not feel that satisfaction. And then once I finally fully like understood and it clicked, I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, a light bulb went off. And so I understand that experience of like, you think you're supposed to do one thing and then it's like, oh, just completely veer.
And it was really cool because there's like this huge like relief as soon as I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do what God's called me to do. And it's like, oh, this feels nice. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I wish I'd found out, but I took 8 hours of biology, 8 hours of anatomy, and 8 hours of chemistry that I ended up not needing.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of did somewhat the opposite of that. So when going into college, I actually went to a college because I wanted to do ministry.
Nice.
I want to do ministry, and I ended up dropping out because one, I couldn't afford it. Then I also found out it wasn't a good school. Then I found out I probably shouldn't have gone in ministry at that time of my life because I was not a good person. So just kind of on the opposite spectrum, it's like God was like, do you realize how important this is? You're not ready for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm a plumber and I'm working my way back and trying to do ministry
Just
at some point.
a full circle.
Full circle.
I think that's like a great thing because there's so many church leaders that are put into positions before they're ready. And it doesn't just hurt the congregation, it hurts that person because when they're supposed to be in a time of growth, a season of growth, they're teaching others and there's very little for them to draw from unless they're spending all their personal time studying, which is great, but that's not always, feasible, like to spend every spare moment you have, I mean, because you have to be out ministering and you have your real, your real world problems and stuff going on. So like, I mean, I think it's great when God does something like that because you get the opportunity to kind of reset and get back on path.
Yeah. I think that's cool. Nate, you said one thing. It made me, so you talked about you going into nursing. This is how I should have known I could never have been a doctor in the first place. Like, I hate needles. A shot doesn't bother me at all, but like if you're gonna draw blood, I cannot look, or like I just like, even if I know it's gonna like the day or week prior to going to the doctor, I'm just like, I'm dreading it forever because I know they're gonna stab me with a needle. I should have known.
Then they check your blood pressure before. They're like, you have high blood pressure.
I'm
It's like,
like-
'cause I'm scared.
Yeah, it's like I promise I can't. Okay, do it.
How about the fact that in nursing school, we all had to go to the OIC center.
Yeah.
And so they have this process. If the people want to get their food because, they're in need people faster,
Yeah.
they can get blood work done.
Yeah.
That's just a kind of quicker way for them to do it.
Yeah.
And the nursing students were the one drawing the blood.
Yeah.
And we had, I guess, been taught, and practiced a little bit, but
Yeah.
they're just like our first time sticking someone with a needle. And you have to get it just right or else it won't work. And there's people in here who don't have easy to find veins, and that was just a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
Just
Sat in the
stabbing
back
people.
and just tried to avoid it.
So we had to do that my freshman year in a college. It was a fake arm, and they had this leather skin, and the skin had been used, and all they would do is they kind of rotate the leather kind of thing on the arm, and so it's been there for a long time, and the skin is tough. And a normal person's skin, you had to you were stabbing them. It was not like a let's poke a vein. You had God. And I just remember doing that, and I remember feeling lightheaded and I don't think I like this. It was just so. This is. I don't know if I can take over the podcast, but can I ask you guys a question? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Podcast takeover. No. What? So I'm terrified of needles. What are phobias that you guys have?
My biggest fear
Phobias?
growing up was Michael Jackson. That's not a joke. I was
Really?
terrified of Michael Jackson.
So if you heard hee coming behind you, you'd start running.
The white
Well, it
gloves.
started. Do you know the movie Scary Movie 3?
Yeah.
So there's a Michael Jackson that's not Michael Jackson in that movie.
Yeah.
And I watched that movie when I was way too young as a kid.
That'll do it.
Why are you laughing, Nate? I'm sharing
story
the
of the
deep
scene.
trauma of my childhood.
Oh,
And
man.
Nate thinks it's funny. Anyway,
It is.
yeah, Michael Jackson's my biggest fear, and it's pretty much the only thing I'm afraid of.
I have a story about that movie, but
I can't wait to hear.
You next or me next?
Mine are a lot deeper, and Chris has gotten on me about having a deeper fear than him before. Because I told him my fear once. He's like, you didn't have to get all philosophical on me.
oh yeah, I was just thinking of phobias more than
Yeah.
a deep fear.
Okay, if we're going phobia,
Not like existentialism.
I would
Yeah.
say spiders, but during the summer, my house has random spiders that just pop out.
Oh,
okay.
So I'm not as afraid of
attic.
of them anymore.
The
but
mice are deploying attacks. It's in the spiders.
I don't know. In terms of, I don't like being in dark places by myself for
okay.
extended periods of time. That's
I apologize. Sun's in my throat.
Gross. You're making the podcast gross.
There's something in my throat.
It's your turn to answer the question,
I know
throat
my
boy.
throat hurts.
Being able
Okay.
coughing during the answering a podcast question. That's his fear.
That's my phobia, and now I'm living it. No. Probably being in open water and not being able to touch the bottom.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I would panic if I was in if I fell off a boat and that boat kept going. I would just die. I'd
Yeah.
be like, dead. Over.
Somebody sent me a video on Instagram. It's this guy that's scuba diving and the water's murky and you can't see. You can see there's a shadow behind him, but you can't see.
Yeah.
And it's this massive shark and it bumps him in the back of the head as it goes by. And it's
Wow.
I just watching that video. I just froze. It was that.
That's terrifying.
That's not okay.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so terrifying. I mean, I will not go in the ocean anymore, even at the beach, just because I don't have any desire to go in there when I have no idea what's around me.
Yeah.
Even if you drove 7 hours from the mountains,
Never experienced.
you went all this
Yeah.
way. No, stay out
I
of
would
the
get
ocean.
into the ocean.
I like the beach atmosphere, and
Yeah.
I like the place.
The
It's just-
aesthetic.
Just-
That's what I'm there for.
So you just go out there and get fried by the sun all day.
Yeah.
It doesn't take him all day. He's a redhead.
Like 2 hours and I'm roasted.
Yes.
You went to a Cardinals Titans game this year, right?
Yes, I did. I survived. I was okay.
But-
because I put sunscreen on. But my wife was like, I don't want to put it on. It burns my skin. And I'm like, the sun's gonna burn your skin worse.
She
And
wore a
she's got-
shirt that. Go
It
ahead.
had patterns, they go
Oh,
around
no.
his shoulder. So there's open red spots on her shoulder, and to this day, it's still their tan line.
You can play tic-tac-toe on her
Just a
shoulder.
big oval on her shoulder. All right, so you had something you wanted to say about Scary Movie 3, right?
Yes, so I saw that movie in theaters in 8th grade with my friend. His name's Jorge. Shout out to Jorge. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. But his mother did not speak English, and she was the only one that could drive. So she drove me, Jorge, Alex, and Tyler, friends in high school, to the movie theater. And this is what I remember about that movie. It was not the movie at all. It was the drive there. Because I was taller than them, they made me sit in the front. So they're all hanging out in the back. And I'm sitting in the front with his mom. And his mom gives us this, like, it's from like Hispanic culture. I don't know what it is. It's this, like, little cake thing. But it's really thin. And it's, like, caramely. I don't know what it is. It did not taste good. But I was in the...
Was it flan?
No, it was like a really thin
it's like
patty. Like if you had a, you know the oatmeal cakes? It's like if you dehydrated that and squished it and like a little frisbee. Anyway, it was like that.
A little wafer.
Yeah, kind of. And she gave me one. She gave everybody one, and they like took a bite out of them, and they were like, "Oh," and they just kind of put it under their seat, and then they threw it away when they got the movie theater. I was trying to be nice because I was in the front seat, so I was just eating it, and I got done, and she was like, "Did you like it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was good." Again, there's a language barrier there. She's like, "Okay," and she gave me another one. And we're like halfway there, and I was like, "Ah." So I had to eat 2 of those things, and they were gross. But that's what
gives you a third.
Yes, I know. I purposely, I was like, okay, we're this far away from the theater, and I was like, just.
How did you wind up in the front seat of someone else's
He was the
parents'
tallest
seat?
Because I was the tallest, and they were like, "Oh, it makes
God.
sense." You know, you're in 8th grade, but I quit growing after 8th grade, so that was
there you go.
that was my height then. But so when I think of Scary Movie 3, I have PTSD of eating those nasty little things.
Was it like a baleada?
I have no idea what it was. No, it was
It was a wafer?
kind of like a wafer thing, but it was nasty.
Oh.
Interesting.
But I try to be nice.
So the wafer thing is something you don't like, but you know what you do like.
Yeah.
You like Pokemon a lot.
I do enjoy Pokemon.
Did her son like it?
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
should have warned us. George, you should have warned us.
Come on, George.
He should have done some work on the front lines before to discourage her from reading.
He
them.
should have. It should be like, "Hey, mom," and he spoke Spanish. She could have told her like, "No, he didn't like them," but I was like, "Yeah."
Es no
He was
bueno.
enjoying watching the
He
experience.
probably they were laughing at me, and I was like, "Okay,
Well, there you go. There's the problem.
yeah."
So you have a very collective Pokemon collection, right? Collective collection. That was so redundant. You have
It
a
is.
nice Pokemon collection.
I have a very diverse Pokemon collection, spanning from the first set to not the newest set, I guess, but pretty close.
Yeah.
But I don't
Next
have
to newest.
I have very random cards, but lots of ones that I like.
What's your favorite one?
Favorite card?
Favorite card and favorite Pokemon.
Oh man, okay. So I have a Zapdos card from the e-reader series. I think it's from Aquapolis, but it's really cool. I got it graded. It's nice. My favorite Pokemon could be Zapdos, but Tyranitar is probably my favorite.
Tyranitar is
He's
good.
pretty cool.
That's a good pick.
It's because he looks like Godzilla, and I'm a huge Godzilla fan.
Yeah, we know you're a big Godzilla fan. That was going to be the next thing that we talked about.
Oh,
What did the Zapdos come back as graded?
it was an 8.
Oh,
It
that's
was
not
an 8.
bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think because the e-reader cards are off-centered on purpose, that kind of helped. Like
Helped it out.
the centering was really good. So
That's
everything
good.
else was pretty good. But yeah,
Cool.
it only took it like 10 months to come back.
Well, yeah.
Send it off
well,
to get graded.
I'm never getting my card back.
No.
That's just the way
No.
PSA is. Like,
Yeah.
people will come in and ask us how long it takes to get a card graded. We're like, anywhere from 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Dang.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's because they're so backed up.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so expensive to get cards graded now.
Yeah.
So
Better
shout
be
out,
worth it.
shout out to Logan
seriously.
Paul
Yeah.
for making this happen.
What is it?
What?
He started the Pokemon craze.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He spent a lot of money on Pokemon cards and then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Open
yeah,
it all.
everybody's like,
I got
oh,
s-
too as well.
I got sent an article this morning. Let me find it real quick. But it was the most expensive Pokemon card sold at auction, sold yesterday.
Oh.
Right
Goodness.
here. It is a Japanese Pikachu card sold for $900,000.
Oh, my word.
What? So,
It's
hey,
a-
if we re-ask that question from college group, if you had $1 million to spend,
Oh, no.
that
It is a
insane.
PSA 7,
What?
and that's
Oh, the
I know-
Illustrator one.
yeah, the Illustrator
There's not many
Pikachu.
of those, but I would never pay.
that is
It's
crazy.
900
much.
grand. That's more than a house.
That's-
Well, you can get a 2-bedroom house nowadays for that.
Yeah, you can get it some. Yeah, that's
Austin
true.
wants to buy a house.
I
He's
do.
very battered right now.
Yeah.
Someone out there living his dream.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Pokemon?
Austin's going to say Pikachu.
No.
Oh, okay.
Austin looks like a Pikachu guy, though, to be
I'm
fair.
not a Pikachu guy. What is the Jolteon? That is my favorite
Oh.
Pokemon. I
Interesting.
like Jolteon.
Jolteon's pretty cool.
Nate, do you have one?
I don't really know if I have a favorite. I mean, I used to be a Charizard fan. Only deck I ever owned was a Pikachu based deck.
Because he's
So,
rated.
Huh?
I say because he's a redhead.
Wow.
Fire type.
What do you
Makes
want to know
sense.
the reason I like Jolteon?
Yeah.
Because he took out gyms really quick in Pokemon Go.
Oh,
That dude was level
Fair
up.
enough.
I got a good one.
Fair enough.
that's fun.
I liked Eevee just because it had so many options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid answer.
That's pretty cool.
It's just like one of the cuter ones.
You know, if you could have a Pokemon as a pet, I feel like Eevee would be a good one to have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
sure.
I want a slow bro.
Just like, is it dead? I can't tell. It's just in the corner.
No,
Calling a Snorlax.
Yeah, Snorlax.
Magikarp.
That's the one I was
Magikarp for
thinking.
sure.
Yeah, a Magikarp. The most worthless.
What happens when it turns into a Gyarados and your fish tank is just destroyed?
I'll figure out something.
Please don't evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah, please don't do that.
just
Don't
stay.
do that.
Just be worthless in your fish tank. Just stay in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I remember those in Pokemon Go. I'd get so many Magikarp, hoping
That one
just
day.
hoping one day, none of them. Like 30 Magikarp just sitting there doing nothing.
Wow. Yeah, the people who don't like Pokemon or don't know anything about Pokemon are like, fast forward?
They're like, yeah, let's just cut off the podcast here.
No,
Please don't.
No, please. It gets better.
All right, so on the conversation of things that you like collectibles, you kind of mentioned it when you said Tyranitar, but you're also a very big Godzilla fan.
I am a big Godzilla fan. So the beginning of that happened when I was a kid. My grandparents bought all these Japanese Godzilla movies that were dubbed in English, and like they were just at the time they were amazing. But Candace bought me some for Christmas a few years ago, and we tried. Well, I watched one about 20 minutes in. Candace had fallen asleep. But they're so bad. But I like they're just it is awful. But I loved them as a kid, and I kept liking them. And then I did a little more research on like the first Godzilla movie, and it was a kind of a metaphor for the first atomic bomb being dropped.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. So I got into it. I enjoy it. So I have some figures of Godzilla and things of that.
I have a question on that, though.
Yeah.
So what does Candace think about your Godzilla and Pokemon collection?
I think she tolerates it.
She tolerates
I think she
it.
tolerates it. She's good. She's like she knows way too much about Pokemon just because of me.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I think I'm a good wife. And I was like, well, yeah,
Now,
that's
so when you show her your cool Pokemon card, she's like, "Oh, that's cool," or like, "Oh, yeah."
I think it's gotten to the point where the oh yeah is like, she's like that does look cool. That is nice.
Okay.
But
You just
Yeah.
got to
Like a
get
pat.
over the nerdiness of
yeah,
it.
yeah, that's how it is.
Just be like, for Christmas, could you please illustrate me a Godzilla portrait?
Yeah, just draw me a draw
Can
me
you
a
put
quick one.
Godzilla and Tyranitar facing head to head?
Yes, but Tyranitar winning. No,
Ooh.
yeah, no, that is pretty cool. But the movie we watched, it was so bad. It came out in 1991, and it was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And Candace, like 20 minutes in, she's asleep. But I started watching it. It was like they were ripping off like the Terminator and all kinds of other like successful sci-fi movies, Back to the Future, all this stuff. And I was like, what?
It's like, how did they get away with
As
it?
a kid, I thought this was so cool, but it was bad. It was so bad. But yeah, I enjoy them.
I mean, if you never see those other movies, it's really cool.
That's true.
There you
You're
go.
like, wow, yeah. But they're
Watch nothing but Godzilla.
we have like it was like a DVD that has like 10 movies on it, and we watched one, and then we watched the and, yeah, like Candace, do you want to fall asleep? All right, let's watch a Godzilla movie.
There you go.
Yeah,
So you're also collecting the magic cards that have Godzilla on them, right?
That is
The
true.
Secret
Yeah.
layer drop, I think, is what it is.
yeah. At which I had no idea. My brothers randomly buy cards and they open them, and they found one that had a Godzilla creature, a Bylanthe, and I was like, how? Why do you have that? Like, where did that come from? How does that exist? And they're like, apparently they're in these packs, and so I found that out. And so for the last 2 years, I've been trying to collect them. There's 2 that I don't have.
You're only missing 2 from the set?
Yeah,
Wow.
just Mothra and a version of King Caesar, but they're anyway.
Expensive.
The Mothra one is like $60, but I did buy an
Not
expensive
too
one
bad.
recently, the King Ghidorah one, and it was also $60.
Nice.
This is probably what Candace doesn't like about this, is that
money
you buy that much and you spend a lot of money on a
I will
card.
say you are very frugal when it comes to your collecting.
Yeah, I do that. Thanks.
You
Thanks.
collect it
Thanks,
like
Chris.
very over time.
Candace, if you're listening, listen to
She
Chris.
will. She'll listen.
Yeah.
Compared to Chris and his Yu-Gi-Oh purchases. They're not
Listen,
insane, but he'll be
no.
like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then he'll go back and rebuy the whole collection.
Okay, it's just because I want to play different decks.
Yeah, but like you'll be like you and one of our friends will just put Yu-Gi-Oh away, and then you'll just feel the drawback. You're like, I have to spend. It's to
I did that one time.
the Chris urge
been
to spend
consistent.
$800 to reinvest into. His,
Okay, after selling a $1,000
I
collection.
know it's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
That happened one time.
Well, I mean, so I'm hoping that a lot of the cards that I have, because I've seen them, a lot of the older ones, their value is pretty stable and it kind of climbs. It's like maybe if I hold on to them for long enough, and then when my daughter is old and grown, and she wants to go to school, maybe I can part with them and pay for school or something with them. I don't know.
Good. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Plot twist: your daughter really gets into Pokemon, and it would break her heart if you sold your.
She's like, no, don't send me to college. Keep
Yeah.
your cardboard.
Were you disappointed to find out that you were having a girl?
No, not really. So Candace and I both
Didn't
like
sound enthusiastic.
she wanted a girl really badly, and I was like, well, I want a boy, but I wasn't gonna be disappointed. I'm a little more nervous with a girl just because like I feel like raising a girl today is gonna be terrifying. Not that it wouldn't be hard for a guy, but just I think that's
A lot
gonna
of
be scary.
societal issues.
Yeah, all the junk going on. So I'm a little more nervous, but I'm excited. I think Candace was very excited to find out that we were having a girl.
Do you have any dad jokes laid out that you're ready to just roll out?
More dad outfits.
Not yet. Basically, everything I wear is a dad outfit. I wear pretty
You
much.
don't wear white Reeboks yet.
Oh no, I need some white Reeboks or like some old K-Swiss
You
or
got
something
some
like
pretty
that.
styling tennis shoes.
Yeah, these are,
With the Steelers logo on it. I was
Well-
trying to figure that out.
Well, see, I don't even. Yeah, the NFL's
Why do they have the Steelers?
because so the best place to get shoes is if you go to Ross or Marshall and they got them on sale. These things were $20.
Wow.
I know.
Nice Nikes.
Nice.
nice.
I don't know if they're in the camera or not, but they're $20.
Probably,
No, they're
you can
not.
get them there if you really wanted
that's
to
right.
try.
Hey,
there we go.
There you go.
Oh, microphone.
There
Lost
goes
the microphone.
the mic. Yeah.
Man, okay, but yeah, they. I don't even know what we're talking about.
What were we?
Pokemon cards.
Yeah, but
No,
then
we passed that.
We're talking about dad outfits and dad.
Dad
jokes.
Oh,
jokes, that's
yeah,
right.
dad jokes.
So basically, what I wear on a normal basis is like jeans and a t-shirt, or shorts and a t-shirt. And I have a lot of graphic t-shirts, and that's basically what I wear.
Well, that's millennial.
Okay,
Jokes.
well,
That's not dad jokes.
yeah, that's not yet, but they will
dad
be.
shirts.
Pretty much every joke I tell is a dad joke. I don't have them on standby. I just make them. They're just like really
You do
corny.
have some pretty corny jokes.
Corny, yeah, they're just bad, but hopefully they'll come into play here soon.
But aren't bad jokes some great jokes?
Yeah.
Oh, I love a good dad joke.
Yeah.
Dad jokes are the best.
Yeah, I think
They're pretty good.
You can overplay dad jokes. Like if you tell too many of them, it gets
It gets
old.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Stay
that's the differentiating between telling a dad joke and being a dad.
yes.
Between telling the joke and being the joke. Is
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
absolutely.
So, I have a list of questions here
Nice.
that we were prepared to ambush you with.
Nice.
We asked Candace these same questions,
Oh,
so it'll
man.
be fun for
Newlywed game.
yeah, sort of. It'll
Except
be
for
fun
the
for y'all to listen to what each other has to say.
Okay.
So the first one we have on standby is, what is your favorite thing about marriage?
That's kind of a deep question.
They only get deeper.
That's the easy one. That is
Well,
the easy one.
I think one of the things that I would never have guessed, but I would say now after 5+ years of marriage, is the companionship of having somebody. So I am naturally fairly introverted, and I like being alone, and I like doing stuff by myself. But after being married for 5 years, it is nice to have like Candace to like, oh, I don't have to do this all on my own, or she can help me with this, or we help each other out, and there's a lot of, we're meant to be together. Not like Candace, not like this written in the stars or whatever, but like people are meant to be together, and marriage has introduced that to me in a way that I never thought was a thing, just because I was fine being off by myself. Can't do that when you get married. So yeah, I've enjoyed that. I don't know. She probably gave like a really heartfelt answer. It's like
Don't base your answer off of what
no,
you
no,
think
I'm not.
she
I'm
said.
not. Yeah, I'm not.
No.
So, all right, next question.
Okay.
What is your least favorite thing about Candace?
Least favorite thing. Oh my! This is.
I told you the first one was a layup.
This is like grounds for divorce if I answer this one.
Oh, no.
Like she's like, what do you say? No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
don't worry. It's just go on the internet for everybody.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
If we cause any rifts, we offer counseling services.
Okay, that's right.
We
The
do.
And
next-
she gave an answer.
The next
so-
the next podcast is us being in here, and then you guys are just interviewing us. So at what point when he answered this question
Oh, we should do that.
did this upset you?
We should do that.
Season 2. No, okay.
Patreon content.
Okay. I think there's times, because I'm very mellow, there's times where she just has like fits of like anger, and that just, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it.
So
Oh no.
no, like
No,
your like complaint.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say complaint, but
Yeah.
what you said, what she liked about you was like the complimentary of
Oh,
it.
that makes
Yeah.
that makes
Because
sense.
she said you were like so patient and everything.
Well,
and, like,
I will say, when I
laid
said that,
back.
that sounds like she's like a tyrant or something. She's not.
well, she described
She's
herself
not.
as emotional.
Yes, yeah, that's fair.
All right, no more spoilers.
we're using
I just,
her words.
it just
Yes.
fell together so perfectly.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
It had to
Okay.
be.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was good. What is your favorite thing about Candace?
So the irony of this is that she is emotional. So to counteract that, I'm very like stoic. Like when it comes to a lot of things, like if it's just getting through, I was like, okay, whatever I need to do, like very robotic at times. And like, well, a perfect example, when 2020 happened, we realized we had been in Wilson 2 hours from the beach for like 2 years and had not taken advantage of that. And she's like, it's COVID, like we can go, like we can finally. And I was like, oh, is it going to be worth it? Because it's a 4-hour round trip going down for a day. And then we went, and it definitely was worth it. But if it had been just me, I would have been like,
wouldn't have done it?
no. And so we went like 5 or 6 trips that summer just going. And that's all because she's kind of forced me to do things that are outside of my comfort zone. So, which probably goes again with the companionship and like understanding that we go good together. But yeah, there's that.
Awesome. The last question we have ready for you is, what is something that you want Candace to hear when she listens to this episode?
Oh man, that I love you and that I love our daughter, and I'm excited to see what our family looks like.
Such a boring answer.
Well, what was I supposed to say?
I'm just kidding.
It
No,
was
that's
a great answer.
That's
That
a
was a good
fantastic answer.
Secret.
Chris is just a bully.
Chris is like, yeah.
What? I get bullied on this podcast.
Chris is the person in my life, and I wouldn't say that he's a bully, but he's the person in my life that I hear most described as a bully by other
That's a special episode for you guys. Just try to bully Chris.
They did it last week or 2 weeks ago.
We find strength in numbers.
Yeah.
You bring another bully in here. The guest is a bully, and it's just Chris sends you the show notes, but you guys have your own, and you just flip the agenda on Chris.
How are we gonna find a renowned bully?
Oh yeah. Put out.
Hello, Donald Trump. Welcome to the podcast.
He walks in here and is like, "Your setup sucks. You suck."
Where's my water?
My setup is much more expensive. Oh man, we do have a little bit of a jank setup, but we're working through it.
I'm enjoying it right now. It's working.
Comfy.
Yeah, you got the comfy
This is
seat.
potentially the most comfy chair I've sat in.
I don't know. This is a nice chair. It's a long
So
chair,
like
but it works.
my dad, those were originally my dad's couches. He got them for like really cheap, like
Really?
a few $100s,
Nice.
because someone was just trying to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
They move. Oh, I almost messed
Yeah,
up
the
chair.
headrest adjust too.
It
Yeah.
does.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice
I was
couch.
playing with that earlier.
There you go.
It's a whole new podcast now.
A whole new
Whole new
podcast.
podcast.
Welcome to the Big World Podcast.
The world just got bigger.
So we had one more thing in our show notes we wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
And this is kind of a touchy subject.
Oh man,
Oh.
it's a
How
good
did-
thing I'm stoic.
Oh.
How does it feel to be balding?
Yes, fair enough. So I've come to grips with it, but this, this is what actually, Chris, you started this a long time ago.
What?
Wait,
Your
not-
fault.
you-
This bully narrative.
You started
that
my
is being
balding. No,
pushed on me.
I remember
started your balding.
you started it whenever I came to Raleigh Road. Chris, no, I'm just kidding. No, well, you mentioned the comment that was like, "Hey, if you knew someone was going to break into your house." I don't know, this has been like years ago. Would you not be prepared? And the analogy was like, if you know you're going to go bald, would you not do something to counteract it? And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But here we are years later. I'm still just sulking in my baldness. But I think it is my mom's side and my dad's side. Baldness is just in my genetic future, so it's probably going to happen. However, somebody was telling me it wasn't Rogaine or Keeps or something like that you can start to use. And I actually almost did start using that until I found out that whatever's in it, like if I were to touch Candace, and it could affect our baby or something like that. And I was like,
I thought you were going to say it would make her bald.
it would make her bald. The opposite. Candace, would you give me your hair? Would you become bald for me? No, I would rather me be bald.
I just
than her.
picture the moment you met him, walked up to Chris and met him, one single hair fell out that day, and then it just continued.
Every conversation, just more hair just starts to fall
There's
out.
a very fun story about the first time we met Kelley. I did not want him to come to Raleigh Road.
Chris did not like me.
That's a fun story. Do you want to tell the story?
I mean, I think from your perspective, it's probably better, but I basically I came to Raleigh Road and I preached a sermon to the students, and afterwards we went to eat at Cookout, and there was quite a few of us that went to Cookout together to go eat. Chris was not among that group, and then I find out later that Chris was like, "Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know about this guy."
His sermon was on salt and light. I was like, how more basic could you possibly be?
Careful, you're talking about the word of God there.
I mean, yeah, but like, when you put it into perspective, don't miss the forest for the trees.
He was like, "Well, why didn't you preach out of Revelation? I wanted you, Pastor, to preach out of Revelation."
I wanted a full interpretation.
Yes.
I was like, I'm a senior. I am here for theological depth. I do not need your salt packet analogy.
Yes.
I want steak. I don't want milk.
Exactly. I was like, he's not the one. Let's shop
We're like,
around.
yeah, let's
Shop around.
shop around. Yeah.
Youthpastors.com.
Type said, "Can I find someone who's not trash?"
Oh man,
But
salt and light.
it worked out.
It did. I'm glad to say I was wrong.
Oh, well, that makes me feel good too.
So.
That's a very rare statement from Chris. He'll barely ever say he was wrong.
Oh my
They've
goodness.
been on an attack. This one.
Right. What did I do? Do we need to talk it out?
No.
I know. We're just trying to let the world know.
It'd be really cool if you guys just had water guns in here. Every time
Water-
the shots fired, just shoot each other. That'd be
Shots
awesome.
fired.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
You'd probably
mess
mess
up
up.
the equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. Laptop starts fizzling and sparking.
We can edit this out.
Yeah,
Do we have
we'll-
anything from the book of
I
questions?
was gonna go there next,
Okay.
depending on time. All right.
Stalling. No, I'm just kidding.
And okay, so to conclude every episode, we have gone to. Dang it! I forgot his name again. Hold on. It matters.
Got it again.
I want to attribute this
We're
man
so prepared
because
here at the Small World
Nice.
Podcast.
we're so prepared. Dr. Gregory Stock wrote this book called The Book of Questions. And so every episode, we are going to take a question from the Book of Questions
Nice.
and pose it to everyone to wrap up the episode.
Oh, okay.
So today's question from the Book of Questions is question number 21. If evidence of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe were discovered, would it alter your core beliefs or sense of self?
Thanks, Dr. Scott. No, it wouldn't. I think that would be an interesting because as believers, as Christians, we think that God created the world, but it's I guess very possible that He created elsewhere too. We have no evidence for that, but I would have no reason to disbelieve God's word. But yeah, that is an interesting question. People have actually talked to me about that. Like, hey, do you think aliens are real? Which is the irony of that is I love the X-Files like that. That's cue the theme. But I that's such a great. It's a fun show. But I don't think there is alien life. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm stoic and boring, but I don't think that exists. But it wouldn't change. No. Wouldn't change.
Yeah, I don't think there is either, but it would be fun.
It would be kind of cool.
And if there were alien life, and looking at the time frame of the Bible, if you look at it from most theologicals' perspective, would they be able to advance quick enough to get here technologically?
Oh,
Yeah.
it could be like the movie Interstellar. Have you seen
Yeah.
it? That'd be cool.
I haven't seen Interstellar.
Oh, well,
That's a great movie, a great soundtrack.
it is. The soundtrack is phenomenal.
What was it?
No
We had
Time
a
for
moment.
Caution. That is. Oh, it's such a great man. Hans Zimmer. That dude
Zimmer.
can compose music.
Nate and I had a moment when we were sitting in his car one time and we were talking about soundtracks, and he was like, it's from that movie. And I was like, I had no idea. There was no context. I was like, Interstellar? He was like, yeah, that's the one. I was like, okay. That was
Shot
the
in the
first
dark.
movie that came to my mind.
And he never watched it.
I've
He was
never
like,
seen it.
It's such a good movie. It's so good.
Yeah. I don't know, the whole alien thing, I'd see it as like not an Interstellar X-Files, but like Chronicles of Narnia thing. Like, I want to go be looking for Mr. Tumnus if we do that.
Oh, that'd be pretty
Like,
cool.
find the lamp, find Aslan,
Do you guys think aliens might exist?
No.
What do you think,
Unintelligent maybe, but
I
not intelligent.
think that
Area 51.
we may never know. And if they did, I don't think we'll find out in my lifetime, so it has no impact on me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the question from the Book of Questions. I think if we did find evidence that there were intelligent life, it would probably rattle my beliefs a little bit because, you know,
You would think about it,
it would
but-
just pose more questions. It
Yeah.
wouldn't rattle me, but
Why don't we know about this?
Why do we always assume that they'd be hostile?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's because it makes a good movie.
Yeah.
it's just
it
more
is.
copies of your dog.
My family returns. No, I think that would be, I don't know. Or now that everybody's going with like the Marvel route with like parallel universes and dimensions,
And all that.
if you can meet yourself in other dimensions, Chris the bully, or Chris when Chris isn't a bully.
You mean this world's Chris?
This world's Chris meets, I don't know. That's
No,
It's just a Chris that's out there agreeing with everybody and like just like being compassionate.
Wow.
I said that. I said that as a shot. I didn't mean that about Chris.
There's an Austin out there that just has anti-Georgia on.
No.
He hates Georgia.
No beard.
He's always hesitant to take action.
He drives a Miata.
There's a
No.
no, there's a James out there that's an auditory learner.
Oh, no.
Not a visual learner.
And he drives a Honda Accord.
Oh man.
Wow.
What a good episode, guys.
That was good.
That's a good episode.
Did pretty good.
Yeah.
We got through another episode. What is this? Episode
This is
5?
Five? Yeah.
Yeah,
Episode
5.
5.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Well, we're
Nice.
getting there, guys.
This was
Getting
fun.
further and further
We got a
away
whole
from
handful.
a standard podcast.
Yeah.
Like we lasted
Yeah.
4 more episodes than another.
So to wrap things up, we always ask our guests if there's anything that they would like to conclude with, any parting wisdom that they would like to provide.
Well, it might be copying James. Oh, wait, were you going to say something?
I was about to say the youth listens to this podcast.
I know.
Yes, I know at least Drew listens. So shout out Drew.
Shout out to Drew. Drew the Giant. I can't say his other handles, but so I guess the only first of all, thank you guys for having me on here. This was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you for coming.
It's been a blast. Imparting wisdom. I don't really know what was just everyday advice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you think. It's your podcast. We're just the host.
Oh well, thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know. That sounds lame, but I don't really have any wisdom. I guess the best wisdom that I can give you is to follow God's word. So if you are curious, because with students or college or anybody, people always come to me for advice, and that advice comes directly from God's word. And so cut out the middleman. Not that will hurt my feelings a little bit, but you could go to God's word. And so if you are curious about what you should do, you definitely go to the Lord about that. So I would say that seek God's word for the problems and things. There's nothing new under the sun. So any issues you have now can be filtered through the Bible. I think that's where
Awesome.
people struggle with that.
Well, thank you again for coming on and giving us some wisdom and a little bit about yourself.
Thanks. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So we will see you next week. I think we're doing a mailbag episode next, right?
Mailbag.
So
That's the idea.
That sounds cool.
yeah, we'll have a bunch of questions come in and we'll just answer them as the trio.
I'm going to say...
just-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's Chris with a satchel.
He just stands there and delivers.
There we go.
We just gotta live. We just gotta.
Don't get us copyrighted, Chris.
Yeah, that's why
This is going on YouTube.
I'm
so
gonna-
watch out.
I want to write like 10 letters and just have different names underneath them, 10 different questions. This person's from Cuba.
Wow.
You just got to send in one from Switzerland.
Yeah,
Switzerland.
our one Swiss
Our
viewer.
Swiss responded. Yeah, that'd be so awesome.
That and that Jacob Hamama guy who still likes every single post.
Does he?
Still
Shout
likes
out
every
to
single-
Jacob.
Jacob needs to
man.
be a guest sometime.
That would be cool if we could call him in.
That would work. I don't know where he's
We'll
from.
make it
but
happen.
I said that. It's not even my
Skype or something.
podcast. I'm just telling you what to do.
Yeah. That's what we want to do eventually. So.
Yeah.
You're now an executive of the
I've
podcast.
decided
Executive producer
this is
Kelley
what
Blake.
happens. I need this guest, this guest, this guest.
Yep. Just line them up.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's all we got for today.
Cool.
So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Small World Podcast.